Hey, Alan here for Old English Outfitters. So today we have a new old product from Taurus. What do you mean new old? Well, revolvers of this type, like this, Taurus has made before. Other people make them too. Smith & Wesson, Ruger, Charter Arms, different people have made these types of revolvers. It is a .357 Magnum caliber. The model is the 650. It is a 5-shot, double action only revolver. Double action only because we don't have an external hammer. Guns of this type are referred to as hammerless. It's kind of a misnomer. They actually have a hammer, but it's inside the frame. You can't see it. Because of how it's built, it's completely slick on the top, so there's nothing to catch when you're drawing it, things like that. You can't cock it. So you just have to pull the trigger each time. It's the long double action trigger, typical of a revolver of this type. Nothing real remarkable about it. One thing I like that they did, though, is they made this smooth. It's not serrated. Especially on something like this, in this caliber, it has a lot of recoil energy. That smoother trigger is easier on your finger than if it was serrated or had some kind of ridges. It's also round on the outside, so it doesn't have a sharp edge on the outside. That's another good thing that they've done. There's not much you can say about this that hasn't already been said a million times by people who've looked at these types of guns. You got a blade front sight. It's blue. You got a trough cut in the rear. It gives you a pretty decent sight picture, honestly. You could make this more visible by painting it to all of it or part of it, whatever you'd want to do. So that's something you can do. It's a 5-shot. It's got the normal ejector rod. You push this ejects your empties. They don't come all the way out. They come out far enough that if you briskly hit it, they clear the gun. Side latch. One thing it does not have an internal lock. Now, Taurus has done this on some of their other models. Smith & Wesson does it on a lot of theirs. Smiths have that little lock right there. Some people don't care about it. Some people like it. Some people really wish it wasn't there. This doesn't have it. So in the box, you get a cable lock. You could run the cable lock through the frame, or you could run it through the cylinder. Either way, it would disable the gun, prevent you from closing the cylinder and making it operate. The rubber grip is short. It's not all that long. My hands aren't huge, but I still end up with my little finger kind of towards the bottom. It's rubber, so that helps. It wraps around the back. That helps with recoil. It's pretty secure. It's not bad. We shot this with full power .357 Magnums. We shot it with some .38 specials. And we shot it with a few stray .38 special shot shells that we had. Full power Magnums. Pretty brisk recoil. It jumps, okay? You'll see that when you see us shooting it. Is it uncontrollable? Maybe. It's not that it hits you all that hard. It's just that because that recoil energy moves the gun a lot, it's hard to get that second follow-up shot. A good carry load for this would be a good .38 special defense load in either plus P or non-plus P range. Why? Because it would enable you to deliver those multiple shots faster and with a little more control than just full power Magnums. When it came to ejecting the casings, either full power Magnum casings or .38 specials, they came right out, no issues there. One interesting thing we had, which I have to mention, we had 4 stray .38 special / .357 Magnum CCI shot shells, so we put them in the gun. I fired 3, and then this cylinder didn't want to rotate completely, so I went ahead and cleared it, and I discovered that one shot shell, and this would not have been one that was up in front of the chamber because the primer had not been hit. That the front of the shot shell, because if you're not familiar with these, they have a plastic capsule that contains the shot, sits down inside the casing. The front of that shot shell had blown off, and it actually spewed the shot out the side of the gun. The shot just came out. It had no powder behind it. It had no power behind it, okay? It just blew the shot out. I put the casing back in, tried the primer. Primer popped. It was fine. Thought that was interesting. Recoil from that round was what did that. Now, who knows how old those shot shells were? Is it possible the front of that shot shell might have been compromised, cracked or something? Sure it is. We didn't inspect them really close. We just put them in and shot them. They seemed like they were okay. But that was kind of interesting. Never saw that happen before, but every day you see something new sometimes. Is this a good choice for its mission? What is its mission? It's a close-range defense gun. Will it shoot well enough to hit something farther? Yeah. It's going to be harder to do that because you're fighting that long trigger pull. You don't have a nice, crisp trigger. It's a close-range defense weapon. Would it suffice for that? Absolutely. People have been carrying revolvers of this type for a long, long time for exactly that purpose. Now, some of those guns are very lightweight. They have alloy frames, 12 to 14 ounces, something like that. This is a steel frame, probably in the 20-ounce range. That's awfully helpful with the 357 Magnum loads. If this were much lighter, the recoil would be much more from the point of how you feel it. And of course, there may be grip options for this too, but this grip isn't bad. And it's short enough to be concealable, but it's got enough meat to it that it doesn't really hurt your hand when you're shooting it, even with the heavier stuff. So anyways, that's what we have for today. The Taurus Model 650, double action only 357 Magnum revolver. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you next time. I'm Alan for Old English Outfitters.